You got to press record first.
There we go.
How's everybody doing today? Welcome once again to the Cash Flow Empire that we host every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, where we like to bring a lot of operators and experienced individuals that are into the multifamily industry to really just bring a lot of value to you guys, and so we can continue to network and to learn. And I mean, we've created this community. We've been going since January. It was just me and Jonathan at that time where we were alone, and we were like, you know what, let's do something even bigger. We were getting so much value just having these one-on-ones with these individuals, and we're like, man, there's no way in hell that we could just be soaking all this in. We got to give this out to everybody. So we started creating this live, and I think this is probably be the best thing that we've ever done. But nonetheless, we do want to welcome today our special guest, Bibi. Welcome, Bibi, and thank you so much for being with us tonight. Shirley, I don't know if you want to take off from here and kind of finish the introduction.
Absolutely. We so generously appreciate you being here, Bibi, tonight, because I know that you're going to just bring so much value to the group tonight. And just to give you a little bit of background on Bibi, Bibi is the Chief Operating Officer of Blue Ocean Equity LLC and jointly owns 105 units across multiple states, including Pennsylvania, Maryland, California, Florida, and is passively investing in 600 units in Texas and Oklahoma, with over 243 units under contract. She holds a master's degree in information systems with a concentration in cybersecurity and a bachelor's degree in project management technology. Her background includes an asset management resume spanning 12 years. Her specialty also comprises in technical analysis, underwriting, and asset management. She oversees all aspects of the business, including project leadership, legal, and finance, and is fiercely passionate about driving others towards success. She is also, and I'm so proud to say this, she is also the co-author of one of Amazon's bestseller, The Powerful Female Immigrant series. So welcome tonight, Bibi. Everybody give her a virtual hand. Let's welcome Bibi up. How are you, Bibi?
Those hand claps.
Thank you so much, Shirley. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Sergio, for inviting me. This is a great opportunity, and I do not take it for granted.
Yeah.
So, yeah, can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're coming from Nigeria, and so just tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay. Before I start, I really want to appreciate everyone that is here. And my message is typically for those that have been having this analysis paralysis and they've not been able to take the bold step to come into the real estate market. I just want my story to inspire you and to show you that there are different aspects of the real estate business and you can take advantage of it. But before I go ahead, I was asked to speak about how you can achieve your American dream using the real estate. When I got that topic to speak on, and this was the first thing that came into my mind, I was like, what is this American dream? What is the meaning of it? And I went to my dictionary and I pumped it out, and it says, it's the belief that anyone, regardless of where they are from or born and what class they are in, can attain their own version of success. That is to say that we all have the same playing ground. So far you come into the US, you have the ability to make this work for you. It all depends on you, nobody else. So I want today, before I finish with my presentation, the analysis paralysis you've been having, I want it out of your mind because you just need to take the bold step. But before I go deeply into how you can get into the real estate is I like to tell my story. And the reason why I get to do that is just for one purpose, to make you understand that no matter what level you are, no matter what you've been through, you can get this American dream. We all can get it. It's possible, but it will not come. It will not come like magic. You have to do the job. You have to do the work and all that. So just like what Shelley said, I'm from Nigeria. And for those of you that don't know where Nigeria is the largest population in Africa, the largest Black population in Africa. And it's supposed to be a wealthy country, but because of the leadership, we've been going through a lot. So that's why we have so many Nigerians in America, because we are looking for places where we can grow our skills and resources. You see many of my people in this country. So I'm from Nigeria, from a family of 5, and we have things going on well for us. My parents are missionaries. They moved into US 30 years ago. So if you look at that, you should have assumed I should have been in this country like 30 years ago, but that wasn't possible. My parents came here as missionaries and they tried to bring us in, but it was almost impossible. They couldn't do that. We were above 21 years and voila, we practically grew on our own. Our parents could not come back. We couldn't come here. So we learned the hard way. So I went through school. I studied project management technology in Nigeria, but because of the economy of the country, you finish your school and you'll not get a job to do. So I had this mindset before I finished my school that I was going to create my own business. So I created my business and I started with a cleaning company. I'm saying all this to make you understand my foundation so that we can go into how you can be successful in the American market. So I went into that and I started with the cleaning services and all that. And that was one of the turning points for me, because I was invited to go into a competition. And in the process of doing the competition, it was for us to define our business. And in the process of doing that, I was asked to define my dream. And I remembered writing about my dream. And I pictured it, I wrote a picture about it, and I drew a mansion. And I put the name of my company on it. And I said, this is my goal. And I tried to figure out how I was going to get to my goal, but I couldn't figure it. The only thing I knew is where I was at that time and what my goal was. But how to get there, I couldn't figure it. So that was not even on the table. So the bottom line was for me to have written my goal, which I did. And a few years after, I started a property management company, and I started managing properties in Nigeria. When I was managing banks, we even had the opportunity to work in the airport. I was managing churches, schools, different aspects of industries. And I was doing all that. Life was moving smoothly and all that. Then I came into America to just give back to my second child because I wanted a better healthcare service. So that was when I came here, just to deliver my child and leave after 3 weeks. That was the plan. But I came here, and what I met was really, really sad. But right now, I would not say that was sad. I would say that was my journey towards achieving my American goal. So when I got in, I can see my sister here. So when I got into the US, so my mission here was give back to your child, go back, face your business. But when I go here, I found out that because my dad, he died before I came. He died in 2009. But before he died, he left about 4 assets for my mom. But for some reasons, my mom virtually lost almost everything. So it was remaining 1. And we're in the house when I was 2 weeks to my delivery. A sheriff came to the house and landed me a foreclosure, that the house we're currently staying was going to be foreclosed. And look at me, I was pregnant, I had a child, our house was supposed to be foreclosed, we had to leave the house. And I thought that was all. And I went into labor after 2 weeks, and guess what? My baby almost died, and she was in the hospital. She had 50-50 chances of leaving. So I was shuttling between the hospital and the foreclosure. So we needed to leave the house. We didn't have where to stay. Abuse, because if you're coming from abroad, you must pay for your services. And it's a lot of money. So I brought in a lot of money. and I used up all the money I brought. So when I came into the country, I had money, but it was for something else, right? So we're going through foreclosure, no house to stay. Where were we going to stay? And I had no idea of how real estate happens in America. I didn't know that there were some things I should have done at that point to have secured that house. I had no clue. So that will bring me to something else. I'll leave that for a later discussion. So after that, I went into labor. We moved out. We're stranded. We had to move into a church. The church, a church setting is not like a house. It doesn't have this installation like a house. So we're practically in the cold. Where we were was an office. We had to rearrange it. We put a mattress on the floor. There was no bathroom. It was just a toilet. We were taking our bath in the bowl for months. Till we were able to raise money, we had to construct a toilet and a bathroom and all that. But remember something, I had a very good life in my country. So for me, the idea was, it was my head, the mindset. I could not understand how a minute ago I was a boss and another minute ago I was homeless. How did that happen? And that happened within a short period of time. And to worsen things, my daughter was in the hospital. I couldn't take her. So another aspect was that I was stranded. I couldn't leave the country. I couldn't go back to my business. I couldn't leave the country. I was homeless. We were staying in church. Everything bad was just happening all at the same time. So I'm saying this to encourage people that no matter where you are starting from or whatever it is that you're going through, I'm sure I've been there. I didn't have a job. I had to pick up a security job. Let me even say this. In my country, I had about 150 contract workers and 8 staff. So you could tell that I was doing well. Only for me to come here, it was the opposite. It was really bad. I had to pick up a security job because when you are here, you have to start afresh. Some of you are familiar with that story. So I started afresh. I had to start working until I said I was going to go to school because I felt that for you to achieve your American dream was through education. Maybe with that, I was going to be able to get to my destination. And for a bit, I forgot my purpose. I forgot my dream. For a bit, there's this quote I saw somewhere and it says, I can't change the direction of my wind, but I can adjust my sail to always reach my destination. Life threw me away from where I thought I was supposed to be. But the only thing I needed to do was to change the direction for me to get to my destination. So I thought education was the way. So I picked up cybersecurity. I did my master's in cybersecurity for 2 years. And in those 2 years, it was done in my car because I was a security personnel, a guard. Then I had to read in the car. So I picked up the night shift so that I could read and do the exams and all that. That was the life at that time. Until I realized that there's more I can achieve from this America. America is a place where we can all achieve our dreams. And I remembered I remember when we were moving this, because I always write my vision on year to year. And I remember when I wrote that thing, I said I was going to have a mansion, an empire. I think that was another turning point for me. So that was how I decided that I don't know how it's going to happen, but I need to make this America work for me. So for some good reasons, I escorted someone to an office where I was supposed to pick up a security job. From there, I met my partner, my business partner. And I went there to get a security job. And instead of getting the security job, I became a secretary. From there, I realized he had a lot of money. And what did I do? I created the relationship. I created trust. Nobody will do anything with you if you can't create a relationship with them, or if they cannot trust you. You would not succeed without trust. So that was what I created during that time. And that was how the person gave me the opportunity that has led me to where I am right now. So in other words, we need to understand our why. I got into the real estate business as an investor because for one particular reason, I was broke. I was stranded. I thought that was the way. It was out of desperation. So how did I start? I started as vacation renter. So this is why I tell people, there is no one size fits all for real estate. You can start from anywhere. It all depends on your why. What is your reason? As at that time, my reason was because I needed quick cash. And what was the easiest way for me to make quick cash was vacation rental, where I had people coming in almost every other day, renting and paying money according to the days that they stayed. So if anybody is telling you that the only way to come into the real estate business is through multifamily, I will tell you no. You can do it in any way you choose to do it. It all depends on your why. And your why also depends on your vision. My vision is so big that I also knew that vacation rental was not my final bus stop, but it was a means to my end. But some people, I have seen some people that have achieved a lot through vacation rental, and they are doing very well. And that is because it answers their why. Vacation rental does not answer my why, but it answered my why for a period of time. Because I knew where I was going to, I transited towards the fix and flip. So now I was no more hungry for steady cash, everyday money. I needed more. I was tired of the little $2,000, $3,000. I was tired of it. I was done with it. But I didn't stop. I just continued with it, but my focus was something else. And what was that? I decided to go into fix and flip. And how did I achieve that? Don't forget, the reason how I entered was through relationship. So this meeting that we always have, this cash flow empire, if for nothing, great relationship, very strategic relationships that can take you to your next level. And that was how I started this whole process. So back to what I was saying. The next thing was for me, because I was hungry for more. I transited from vacation rental. I moved to the fix and flip. Now, the fix and flip is a very good way to make large chunk of money. For those of you that have done it, you know that, right? That was good at that time because we could sell a house for 500. I mean, we could buy a house for 500 and sell for 800. Maybe put little labor, little renovation in it, maybe 50,000, closing costs and all that. We'll walk away with 180,000. 180,000 is some people's 1 year allowance or 18 months salary. We know that. So that's a lot of money to some people, but you can get that for just one deal. And if you do that consistently, let's say you do that twice or 3 times in a year, in a month, that is crazy money. That was some people's why. Some people just needed crazy money and I need it very fast. I get my house, put in some money, sell it, get money. That was some people's why. But that was not my why. You know why it wasn't my why? Because I understood that that was not a way for me to build my financial freedom. Because as much as I know, I'm buying those properties and I'm selling them. I'm losing it almost immediately. I'm holding them for a short time and I'm losing them. And now that was not even the main issue I had with it. The main issue I had with it was the capital gain. You make as much as 180 and the government, you pay a lot as capital gain. How hard can I work? Work so hard and somebody else take my hard-earned money? That is not the financial freedom I was looking for. But to some people, I have a friend that's been in it for 15 years and it's working very well for him. Back to what I was saying, it all depends on your why. So if you don't know your why, you can't know what to do. There are many opportunities in the real estate and business. That's what I want you to understand. not one way.
No, thank you so much, Bibi. I mean, and you mentioned the why so many times, and a lot of times I don't think people understand how important that single word is, because it takes you to need to reflect on the things that makes your heart beat, right? That makes you want to aspire for more. And it takes people a lot of time to really dig deep and look at the things that they dream of, but that they need to work at, definitely, because everything you want, you have to work hard for. And some of the things that I captured from your amazing story, I mean, it has so many variables and so many twists and turns. But one thing that stayed consistent in your mind was your why and your purpose, which is so important. And you mentioned, hey, I was going in a direction, but I needed to adjust my sails. I had a vision. In that vision, I wrote it down. And through that, I created relationships. And with that comes trust and understanding yourself and your why. Those are so powerful. And that all correlates to the mindset, right? The mindset that you need to have to embark on this journey. And I so thank you so much for your story, because a lot of us that come to this country as immigrants, we can relate to that for sure. Sergio, do you want to add something?
Yeah, really quick. I just wow, that was really good. It's crazy how things work. I think God, how's that old saying, or how's that saying? God works in his mysterious ways.
Yes.
I needed to hear this. Everything you've said tonight, Bibi, so far. We all have issues. We all go through things for whatever reason. I mean, you were put in some adversity, it looks, and I think I'm going through that chapter right now in my life personally. So to hear you talk about how the things you went, like everything was just kind of like falling, okay, first it was this, the house, then, down to your baby being sick and having a 50-50 chance. It looks like everything was just kind of stumbling down. Your world was just crumbling on top of you. And that's kind of like, I kind of feel like that right now at the moment, just kind of like we're getting bad news after bad news after bad news. But hearing you tonight really inspired me just to kind of keep my head up. The sun has to shine someday. Eventually the sun will shine. And I think, it means a lot, because I mean, we all go through things. There's probably somebody, I just admitted that you've inspired me to kind of just keep my head up and keep fighting. And I'm sure somebody in here is not the only one that's probably going through their own personal things. We all go through personal things in our lives, but yet we're still here this Tuesday at 7 p.m., trying to stay focused, trying to get some type of value, yeah, I just wanted to make that comment. I really do appreciate your story and your it's just amazing. It's keeping me, it then gave me a little spark in me.
Very
So,
powerful.
so
Very,
thank you for that. And just really quick, a question that I do have, I like something that you said. I think we all need to do this. And you said that you put on your wall, you put on your wall a mansion and with your business LLC on it. And it's funny that you say that, because you even said, you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but that's my inspiration. It's funny that you say that, because I did the exact same thing. I put a big, huge mansion in, and I put a Lamborghini. It is materialistic. Yes. I don't need all that, but it is something that eventually one day I want to acquire those fun luxuries, those things in life that, and that's the same thing. That's the same thing I'm asking myself, like, how am I going to get there? I'm going to figure it out, but I will get there. How is it? Yeah, the vision board. Somebody put, it's a vision board. How has that really helped you? I mean, how long did it take you to actually kind of get there? Because I know you put the house, you're going through adversity. How long did it take you to, and if you're not there, how is that journey going so far?
It was a long journey. I'll say that for a fact. But the bottom line is the consistency. And it was not a straight journey. It was up and down. Like if you see, I started out well. Then for a while, I was off the track. Then I went back again. So it's not a straightforward journey, guys. Life is not straight. It's actually ups and downs. So the earlier you embrace that, the better for you. So that was my own experience. It was, and I'm still on the journey. No one here will tell me has arrived or got into his own goal. If you have, then that means your goal was too small. Yeah, so it's a constant process. And as we go, the goal keeps, not the goal, the route keeps changing. It keeps revolving. Like I said, my why has constantly changed. It has not been the same why. The why I had yesterday is not the same why I have today, but it has grown, you know. So in that process, what I always encourage people to do is, first of all, you need to write it down. I'm a Christian, and there's a part that says, write your vision and make it plain. The reason why you need to write it is constantly to remind you, if you're going off track, to come back on track. And that has helped me. Like in my window, I went for our female immigrant something, and the speaker there said, what is that amount that you want to have in your account in the next 3 years or 5 years? I can't remember. And right then and then, I said, I want to have $300 million in my account. And it's right there in front of my mirror. And I see it every day and I laugh. I say, God, how am I going to get there? You know, but truth be told, it's a journey. We'll get there. All you need to do is write it down and move on and take that step.
Absolutely. Writing it down makes it true, makes it solid. You see it every day. And that's going to be part of your vision board. And I just love that. I'm such a big fan of visualization because it's true. You know, things revolve around your environment and in your life as you think about them. You know, people just have to be more intentional about them. Definitely action is a big part of it because you have to motivate yourself. Nobody else will. Now, I know that you mentioned a couple of different strategies that you did and that you offered other people, whether they're starting with vacation rentals, fix and flips, and all of that. How did you come across multifamily deals? And what is you? Why are you so enamored with it, right? As opposed to the other ones?
Yes, thank you so much. The reason is because of my why. Like I said, I had a purpose, and the purpose was for me to create financial freedom for myself. And the more I got myself into real estate, the more I got educated, and the more I started getting more experience. There is no way you can get to that point without getting that form of education. Because what that does is that it embodies or it just exposes you to greater opportunities in this industry. So what my why did was that it gave me the opportunity to know that I can achieve my exact goal through multifamily. So what did I do? I had to take the leap of faith by going to buy my own first multifamily property. And the reason why we did that was because we wanted to understand firsthand, how is it possible to manage 18 units, 20 units, those kind of properties. This time around, I'm not talking about one tenant or one person. We wanted to understand it firsthand, but we didn't just buy it. We got educated. There's something I want to chip in here. Real estate is one of, it depending on you. I can boldly tell you that I've spent less than 5,000 in my journey to acquire this knowledge. And I know some people that spent hundreds of thousands. I'm not saying that is bad, but truth be told, if you don't have the money, and why did that happen to me was because I didn't have the money at the time I started, but I needed the education. And what did I do? I looked for resources. I started going on YouTube. I was always on YouTube every day to gain that education. And that was how that's how I knew about this. Then I had to now buy those properties to now practicalize what I've learned. And what if I was having issues, I will send messages to those people that were giving me free lessons, and they answer me. So I practically did not pay a lot to learn. So if you have the mindset that for you to get to the multifamily business, or before you can get into the real estate, you need so much money. I'm a proof of it that I fully spent 4,800. That was recently. And that was me joining the market blank. And I did that out of, I don't know why I did it, because I knew I would have still succeeded in whatever I wanted to do. So my journey into the multifamily was because I wanted long-term wealth. I wanted long-term income, things I can hold for a long time and pass on to my children. Because at this point, I have 2 kids. If I'm doing fix and flip, what am I passing to them? If I'm doing vacation rental, my journey will be very slow. But if I'm doing multifamily, I'm building an empire for them that I can gradually hand over to them. And they can continue from where I stopped. So it's more like for my kids, for my freedom. So that is how I got there.
Your legacy, absolutely. The legacy you're going to leave for your kids. And that's so important because they're also learning from you. They're learning how to work smart, not hard. So with that being said, what are some really solid, knowledgeable tidbits that you've learned specifically for multifamily that you can share with the audience?
Yes, multifamily is exactly what you guys, is the opposite of what you think it is. It's not as easy as what you think it is, and it's not as difficult as what you think it is. It has a lot to do with relationship. It has a lot to do with, in short, relationship is the length and breadth of multifamily. Because that is the only way you can bring in funds. That is the only way you can get it. In short, everything about multifamily is relationship. So I will say to everyone, start building strategic relationships. I have some of our investors on this call, people that are investing on our deal. And how did I meet them? Through calls like this, build relationship. So that is one tip I would tell them to do it. And again, multifamily is not all about the money. It's about getting the education. There are many freebies out there, like what Jonathan just shared with us. Attend events like that. They come with a lot of knowledge. And the good thing is you don't have to pay. But the thing about people is once they don't pay for stuff, they take it for granted. But me, for one, what attracts me is freebies. When I see freebies, I jump and I ensure I gain from it. So follow my lane. It has worked for me, and I believe it can work for some people. You don't need that money to do what you need to do. And lastly is stop this analysis paralysis. Some of us have gotten a wealth of education, but we refuse to jump into that water. It's okay to make mistakes. I made mistakes. I've lost money on this business. I have lost dollars a lot, thousands. Recently, we just lost $25,000 on a deal. And let me tell you what happened. It was a fix and flip we did last year because of the interest rate. The deal is staying longer in the market. We cannot sell. We bought it for a good amount, but we can't sell because of the interest rate. Now, do we continue holding on to the property or we let it go? We have to let it go and lose $25,000. If we hold on to it more, we'll lose more. So you are allowed to make mistakes, but make those sensible mistakes. How do we intend to correct that mistake? We are taking all those money that we're going to get from it to invest in multifamily. That was 1 unit. Now we're going to use it to invest in 12 units. So we didn't just make mistake. Now we're correcting the mistake by multiplying whatever proceeds we got from it. So it's okay to make mistakes, make those mistakes, but learn from it on time.
Absolutely.
And that's what we are doing.
So important. I mean, the most important thing, like you said, is you're going to make mistakes. Everybody does when they're on a specific journey. The important thing is to learn from those mistakes and bounce back, right? And so you were able to bounce back from that fix and flip to now having more units. And so I'm curious, was it because you said the rates, was it floating rates that you had or?
No. Fix and flip, you have a duration to sell. If you don't sell during that time, there's something called carrying cost. You pay mortgage, utility, your landscaping, those things, they incur over a period of time. So the longer it stays on the market, the worse it becomes for you. You start losing profit. Fix and flip is a short-term play.
That's right.
You cannot afford to miss the timing.
You got to turn and burn. That's
Exactly.
right. Okay, so we have a question from Jimmy Lou. Jimmy Lou, what's your question?
Hi guys. Hi Bibi. Thanks for the amazing story that you're sharing. This is very inspiring. So I have questions. I mean, for your story, I mean, obviously you go through a lot of challenges. I mean, to get to where you are today, and then have to fight for all of those. So my question is, I mean, there's some people want to do this, but they're limited by their situations, right? I don't have time, I don't have money, you know, I don't have this educations, all of those stuff that's holding them back. Now, if you are going through all of those challenges and you can make it happen today, what's your recommendation to those people that are starting out and also have these limitations at this point? And what's your thought process going through that?
Thank you so much, Jimmy. I'm happy you said this because I went through those things you just listed. You cannot have money and don't have relationship. You cannot have relationship and don't have money. I didn't have money. So what did I need to do? I had to get the relationship that would get me the money. I had nothing to my name. I was earning $1,000 and I earned $1,000 for a long time. And that's not enough to start a real estate business. So I know most of you are earning that right now. The only encouragement I'll give to you is if you don't have the money, get a relationship, get someone that has that money, that does not have the time. Do the sweat. Render your sweat, the effort, let the person bring in the money. And that's what I did, even if it cost you less. Because when I started it, I had to go with 20%. For doing all the job, and the person was going with 80%. But is that what it is right now? No. So you can start up small. The only way you can start up small is you have to know it. That means go get educated. You cannot have money, you don't have the education, you don't have a relationship. You can't, you just have to get something. Go get the free education, master it, get a relationship, sell yourself, partner with the person, and don't ask for anything. It's only a matter of time, you know your worth. That was what I did. So if you have the money, you don't have the time, then you can also invest as a limited partner. That's where the multifamily comes in. Some people have the money, but they don't know it. They don't know what to do. Then you have to give it to people that understand how to give you good returns for your money and relax and enjoy. There's nothing wrong with being a limited partner. Me, for one, I've invested in people's deal. And my own why is different from some people. Let me tell you why I invested in people's deal as a limited partner was because I wanted to create a relationship with them, not because of the deal. I wanted them to be on my deal as my co-GP. And the only way for me to get that quick access was, I'll invest in your deal, and you have to work with me on my own deal. So at this point, it's about negotiation, relationship. You need to play around with your resources. If you don't have anything, I believe everyone has something to offer. You have something to offer. You need to just dig deep into your innermost parts to know, okay, I don't have money. I can talk. I can go for events like this and start to know people. Recently, I got to find out that some people, their job is to connect people. I've never heard of that before. They go and they look for people that have money, people that have this, they connect them. And what do they get in return? Either they get a GP role or they get money, a commission on it. And it's working for them. So you can't be one and not be one. You have to be something. You just need to know where you fit into the game. There's a billion and one aspects of real estate, and everybody has an equal playing ground. You just need to know what that playing ground it is for you. I hope I answered your question, Jimmy.
That was a really great question, and I think you made you said something that I wish I would have heard when I first started this game, but I was blessed because I had Jonathan and Tony as my partners to kind of help me change that mindset. And you said, you know, when we first met, we're up here talking millions of dollars. I'm like, dude, I don't have the money to buy these apartments. Like, how am I going to do this? This is impossible. You know, I didn't, and as in our culture, in the Mexican culture, and I've said this before, you know, we're just, it's very hard. Like we like to buy things cash. So if we don't have the money, why even think about it? But to kind of switch that mindset and to really, if I don't have the money, let's go find someone that does. It was very, very hard for me to do. So most of you guys on the call are probably questioning yourself right now. Like, how am I going to do it? Like, how is it that I'm going to acquire $10 million assets, 200 doors, 160 doors? Bibi just gave you the answer, guys. And it's really just, you know, first get educated, bring these opportunities to people who do have the money. And I think the rest will fall into place. But that's a really gold nugget, as I like to say. Everybody makes fun of me because I say that. That's a gold nugget that I got from what she just said that I wish I would have heard, you know, the first times I got in the game, because I mean, it sucks. You know, we all kind of have that mental breakdown, like, man, I can't do this. I don't have the money. But she said it herself, you know, find someone that does. And you know, it'll all just kind of fall into place. Co-star, what's up, bro? You doing all right? You have a question?
Yes, guys. Thank you. I have a comment, not so much a question. Bibi, I really enjoy your story. I'm originally from Haiti myself, and I can understand what you're going through. I'm watching the energy, even through Zoom, the confidence that you are going to reach probably more than 300 million just by watching you, your energy through the Zoom. And, you know, I'm very blessed to be part of this and watching this. So the guys, to you guys putting this together, I'll be quick. I've been here probably the past month and a half. Every single week, you guys just keep adding value. I love the diversity of groups that you guys bring. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coaster. We truly appreciate it, and definitely bring other people. You know, we're trying to just expand our family. This is our family. This is a tribe, and we want the exchange of knowledge that goes around. We're here to nourish each other and grow together. So thank you for that. Definitely, Bibi, I mean, we're coming up on the top of the hour, and I know that, I mean, we can sit here and talk multifamily and mindset, which is so important, definitely, which is one of the first steps that you all need to have whenever you go on this journey, is the mindset shift that we need to have. We have to have that internal talk with ourselves, right? Write it down, visualize it, and then go take action, go take massive action, right, Bibi?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, we're about to go on our breakout rooms. And before we do that, I want Bibi, if you can provide just like 2 to 3 tidbits of wisdom or resources that people can take away from you tonight, that would be truly appreciated.
Thank you, Shirley. There's this word from Michelle Obama that I stumbled onto before this meeting. And she said, the only limit to the height of your achievement is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work for them. In other words, we are our own limits. We can only limit ourselves. We can achieve whatever we set out to do. We don't know the power we carry. We carry a lot of power. But the moment we come into that realization, then things will start happening. But we need to start. And the time is now. Anyone can achieve anything, irrespective of where you're from or what you do. This is America. We can all achieve the American dream.
That's right, America. Yes, I mean, this is the land of opportunity, y'all. And like Bibi said, and I'm gonna restate it again, you know, we coming into this journey, we don't know anything about it, but what do we have at a disposal, right? Education, YouTube, networking events, and most importantly, the networks and the relationships that you're gonna make with other people. That's how you are going to grow your environment. You're going to grow your opportunities to partner up with others and make a deal happen, you know, and maybe you want a magical recipe, but it's so simple. It's relationships, a vision, your why, your purpose, and taking massive action. Those 5 things, at least from me. And I got my vision board back there to show. But definitely, guys, thank you so much for attending tonight. I want you guys to stay here. Let's do a good breakout rooms. Let's do 2 good breakout rooms, okay? So that we can go to bed tonight with our minds right, or clear heads and motivation to move forward. So guys, are you ready for the breakout rooms?
Yeah. Really quick though, before we go out into the breakout rooms, we're gonna stop the recording, and we do want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Bibi, once again, thank you for taking the time out of your night to come hang out with us and to really just drop this knowledge. And I know you've touched me on a personal level tonight. I'm gonna remind myself to trust the process and the things that I'm going through, and I'm sure I'm not the only one here that got a lot of value tonight. But thank you once again for joining us tonight. And guys, remember, every Tuesday night we have the Cash Flow Empire call at 7 p.m. So we'll see you next week.